Welcome back to the Amnesia Experiment. Jerry is reading for us again today in Chapter 4. Last time you met Justin, who had a mystical experience on Laura's submarine. Today, David bumps into his old friend HB at the airport. HB turns out to be someone important in Laura's life. Please join us. Here's Jerry.
David stepped off the plane into the chaos of the Miami airport. He shifted his carry-on to his left hand and looked for a taxi sign. David Spaulding. David felt the hand on his shoulder before he realized he was being addressed. It was a comforting touch and a mellifluous voice that he suddenly realized how much he'd missed hearing. He turned and grasped the outstretched hand of Henry Bryan. HB, what are you doing here? I might ask you the same thing. Long story, David said. You first. Fair enough, HB said. I'm here to pick up a colleague who's coming home from a speaking engagement. I came early so I could grab a sandwich at the Cuban Grill. Why don't you join me and we can catch up? David looked at the man who was like a second father to him during his tumultuous teen years when his own father had traveled a lot and was rarely home. That's when David's best friend was Matt, and Matt's father, HB, had come into David's life. Sounds good. They didn't attempt conversation as they threaded their way through the crowd. David was relieved to see it was full of service restaurant. Once seated, HB waved aside the menus and ordered for both of them. David nodded his approval. You have no idea how many times I reached for the phone to call you, David said. The message you left meant a lot. I just couldn't talk about it. Well, something has sparked your fire again, and I suspect you'd rather talk about that. HB left the sentence hanging on the chance that David really did want to talk about the accident. David relaxed the tight grip on his water glass when he realized HB was going to give him a pass. He knew HB had not missed the telltale sign of his tension. He wanted to talk about his project, but was afraid HB might ridicule it. HB watched the inner conflict play out on David's face. Try me, he said. Okay. You know how I feel about global warming. I just finished reading this book written by someone living in Miami. It's about a civilization that survived rising seas and all the calamities that scientists say will occur on Earth if we don't do something. The civilization found answers. I thought it would make a great movie, maybe stir the pot a little. David held his breath, waiting for HB's response. So you're here to meet the author and buy the rights. That's the plan. I confess I'm a little skittish about meeting the author. She published under what I assume is a first name only. No brief biography included. The only thing I could find on the internet was disappointed fans complaining that she didn't answer their letters. How did you track her to Miami? The publisher? Right, the editor. I talked to, said she was a mysterious young woman, not forthcoming about herself or her background. He thought she wrote a great story. They printed it just the way she turned it in. No revisions, nothing. That was a first. They were a small press without much of a publicity budget. Because of her reluctance to go on the road and promote her book, sales were slow. That was a big disappointment to them, but she didn't seem to mind. He got the feeling she was relieved to be done with it. Anyway, he wished me luck convincing her to go public. David shrugged and said, So you see why I'm a little leery? It's good to see you're excited about something. It sounds like a project suited to you. If anyone can convince her, you can. What does Amy think about it? David's stomach clenched and he reached for his glass of water. He made circles on the table before working up the courage to say, She doesn't know. She's off planting trees. I consoled myself with a trip to the bookstore, and here I am. You need to tell her. I have no doubt she'll approve, as will Joanna. You must come to dinner. Just say when, he said, and I'll hang around long enough for that. Maybe I can bring along the mysterious Laura and you can analyze her for me. I won't tell her you're a psychiatrist who can hypnotize people into telling all. I can't promise about Laura, but I'll be there. Is Joanna doing as well as you seem to be? I see a few gray hairs, but you look the same. Happy. We're both busy and happy. Joanna is involved with her foundation. I have clients and volunteers at area shelters. We enjoy living here, and thanks to Joanna, we have a garden on our roof. Good for you. What did you hear from Matt and Melissa? I'm afraid I haven't kept up. Matt's still teaching literature at university. He has some bright students that keep him enthused. Melissa's a financial planner. She keeps him grounded. No grandkids yet. Whether by choice or not, I don't know. Joanne and I do not ask. What about you? David smiled as HB gave him the look and raised his eyebrow. No, but we would welcome such a happy event. We may have to get tested, but keep hoping that won't be necessary. You'd make a good father. So would Matt. Look, I hate to dash off, but I have to meet the plane. Where are you staying? At the Hyatt. David wrote the hotel and his phone number on a napkin. Go, I'll take care of the bill. What's your address? HB handed him a business card and said, Call Joanna to arrange a date. Good luck with the rider. If you can get her in the door, I promise no voodoo, as you used to call it. David sighed and ordered another cherry Coke. He could still hear one of the messages HB had left on his machine. Guilt is useless and damaging emotion. It accomplishes nothing. Remorse is healthy, but so is self-forgiveness. David had nearly thrown the machine across the room when he heard that one. It was just platitudes, mumbo-jumbo. It seemed sacrilegious to the memory of Keith to just accept everything and walk away. Yet here he was, getting on with it, feeling alive again. HB surely approved. David tucked that thought in his pocket, along with the address.
Thanks, Jerry. Next time, Laura goes to dinner at HB's.